Okay, so welcome to the program, The Night Heat, right from Prime FM 105.5. We are streaming live tonight on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. You want to watch the show online? Just tap Nighttime Heat. You go to follow the show either on your Facebook or either on your YouTube channel. We are also streaming live on Prime FM on Rovia 105.5. All we want you to do tonight is to share the live video so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones can also follow what's happening tonight on the program. The program, as usual, it promises to be very, very interesting tonight. We have some interesting topics that will be today doing justice to. So we're going to have a wonderful discussion. We want you to share the live video so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones can follow and also know exactly what's happening tonight on the Nighttime Heat. Well, part of our discussion, we're going to talk about a startling revelation in the ongoing economic sabotage case. You know, the case involving Samuel Tuwe and others, it's still ongoing. And of course, it has reached a dramatic turn now where the defense counsel or the prosecution is about now producing its witnesses. They've begun mounting on the stage on the witness stand to talk about basically what do they know about the case. So we're going to talk about that tonight. We understand that the first state witness says something that was very, very startling. I know that was very, very revealing. Let me put it that way. And of course, we're going to talk about that tonight. Well, we understand that Paris has expressed readiness to help end the border crisis between Monrovia and Conakry. Well, we're hoping that happens because, it's quite important to all of us, the Guineans and the Liberians. That border feud is very, very important to all of us. And of course, also, Philip Brown, he's a Liberian journalist, a very experienced. He has this feature, normally that he writes, which is titled and starred, Where I Sit. And of course, today, he, detail what you call the Beto harvests of exploitation. And of course, if you read that, very, very interesting. But, he tried to generate a debate why Representative Yeke Koluba should not be expelled. He said, well, the country is still dealing with the better harvest of exploitation. Because in essence, he said, by right, our national leadership should be thinking about how they can rehabilitate many of the young people who fought the Civil War. And he believes the antics of Koluba is just a reflection of what happened and he experienced during the war. So there's a need for the national leadership to look at a rehabilitation. We're going to read the entire piece and talk about it tonight as well. It's very, very interesting. We're also on the program tonight, business owners at the J.R. Beach, somewhere around the coconut plantation in the Mamba Point. They had to shortly face what we call eviction. And of course, we are hearing that the land authority has already communicated that to them. Well, we're going to look at that. Is it only the beach? Is it only the J.R. Beach? Or would this eviction go across all of the beaches? Or is it maybe someone who's trying to use his influence with the government agency to get the businesses out of the beach and and then construct some genetic out of structure, out of for business purposes or something. So we're going to talk about that as well tonight. And of course, on the margin, we're going to be asking tonight whether the government is losing the war on public relations, or whether the government is still maintaining its grip. If you and of course I stand to be corrected, but if you navigate it, through major media institutions during the day, during the afternoon, during the night, you find out that bulk of them, do find interest in looking for what they feel it's somehow anti-government, and then they talk about those hard stories, those critical news. You don't hear many of them talking about maybe government did a new road, and that's a major talking point on major shows. No, you don't hear that much. You're talking about maybe government, took some positive steps in the interest of the country. Well, they just talk about it briefly, but bulk of them, and I was just going through that today, and the question came whether the government is really losing the war, and if you listen to, or if you follow the government's communication machineries, so far only three, the make out a press briefing, the new show, how you call it, the Class Reloaded, and a state broadcaster. But again, the state broadcaster is finding it difficult to play that road, because in fact, every time there's this internal wrangling among the management members, so the road is supposed to be plain to tout the government programs and policies. You don't hear much of that. So we're going to talk about that. Is it the case that the government is really losing the war on PR, or is the government still maintaining the grip on PR? We'll talk about that on the margin of our program. Let me welcome our panelists quickly. David Benedictus, Rasmus Nambutabwe, welcome to the program quickly.
Thank you, Sabot, and good evening to our many listeners and viewers. And I'd like to say hi to my fellow panelist, Mr. Kennedy, and also Moses Sandy in the United States, who are on the stage over there on the line, waiting to blast. So, Saba, good evening to it, and good evening to our technical team in the background.
Thank you, Tabwe.
I hope I'm not usurping your function.
Hopefully, you may let me do the program today. Tomorrow and a Friday, because I'm looking in that direction. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mr. George. I appreciate you, and I want to say good evening to Mr. Sandy. He's already on. I can see him. We want to hear pure Liberian English today, not mixed American Liberian English. And good evening to you, Mr. Tagbe, and also to our technicians behind the scene and our listeners. Thank you. Please share the show. We're here to contribute our little ideas and see how it can help shift the discussion at the national level. Yeah.
Okay. So, Sandy, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you.
The line came on.
Yes, the line. The internet. It's very terrible tonight. Moses, are you not coming in well? It seems like you got to go off and come back on. Yeah, you have to go off and come back on, Moses, please. So, gentlemen, let's get the ball rolling quickly. I'm trying to drop the program in the major chat rooms, so that those who are in the chat rooms can also follow tonight. But let's get the ball rolling, gentlemen. And of course, our first discussion will have to do with the government PR program. Uh, and I want us to be honest, as we are always with this discussion. Uh, if you took a census, or maybe if you did your own research, around Monrovia and maybe its environs, you determine that there are lots of media institutions, radio stations, but bulk of them, and we know, they are independent stations. They are privately owned. Uh, but what stands out is that many of them, if you listening to the evening, the mornings, the night programs, their concentration is not about promoting the government's policies and programs. And as a result of that, not many things are happening. I can remember when we started the profession, and let's take for instance the press conference yesterday by the Attorney General, that the government was in full control. You will find that bulk of decisions were wrong with that. When we were actually, beginning at the time in the profession, bulk of decisions were wrong with that. That the government has said this, and that would be the drum that they will be beating, so that the population, it will sink down in the ears of our people that, oh yes, the government said is is in full control, and it's handling the situation with it's just an example I'm giving. It's handling the situation with wisdom and maturity. But nowadays, if you follow and do your own research, listen to stations in the morning, major stations, listen to stations in the evening, in the afternoon, major stations, even during the night. Bulk of them, they look at what is negative, in another word, and they're wrong with that. The government stories is not actually told well, or told to the extent where many of our people will get it. And unfortunately, on the side of the government, just in recent times, sometimes last year, the government propagandists, or the government communicators, let me put it that way, they initiated the class reloaded, where a government minister is querying another government minister. The state broadcasters are supposed to be helping to tout the policies of the government. Not much programs you hear on the state broadcaster. And to make it worse, that's always internal wrangling since this administration came and appointed new breed of individuals. Besides, the make-up press briefing, which also supposed to be helping. Journalists go there, they attend it, and they just take just a small portion. And in fact, bulk of them will look at the negatives and not the positives. Gentlemen, against this backdrop, is the government really maintaining the war on PR, or is the government losing the war? And if so, what is needed to be done? Dave, let's hear from you.
Well,
it's good that we are all media people and
you just
tonight here.
I mean, you just thrown that hell of a ball in my court.
Yeah, surely, Dave.
But quite
Very
frank,
big ball.
but quite frankly, I mean, it's a matter of concern. Uh, but the question is a tough one.
Mhm.
But looking at it from a different point of views, if you look at the media today, radio stations, newspapers, many of them are owned by people from the opposition. Opposition politicians own these radio stations and newspapers. And so the stories they carry would always be anti the government. You don't expect opposition radio stations or stations that are being funded by opposition politicians to do public relations for the Liberian government. It is obviously that wouldn't happen. And this is where the government has a challenge to strengthen its own public relation machinery. Maybe like you talk about the Mika press briefing. The Mika press briefing, I mean, it does very well in terms of, highlighting government's achievements, development projects, and other infrastructure development. Those are things the government and the Mika press briefing usually looks at. And sometimes always counter checking or responding to the negativities that we're making reference to. So the Mika press briefing is doing extremely well. It must have some weaknesses that needs to be strengthened. And as it made mention to the state broadcaster, we should also be doing most of the work. It's lacking behind. It doesn't seem to be effective in doing what it is expected to do in terms of protecting the image of the government and showcasing the government development projects and heightening propagating government policies effectively, not just propagating, but effectively propagating government policies because of many distractions. The distractions coming from, repeated controversies, disunity among authorities or officials of the state-run broadcaster. I mean, that is a major impediment in terms of the effectiveness of the government's PR machinery. And besides that, PR is expensive. It requires money. It requires a lot of money. It requires a lot of money. But sometimes the government wouldn't spend its time or waste its time, in terms of responding to, views being expressed by opposition radio stations, sometimes intentionally. I mean, misconstruing information, propaganda. I mean, the government has to be very, very strong in terms of countering these negativities. And if not, the government may lose the war on public relations. May lose the war on public relations.
So, you believe that the government still has its grip on public relations?
The government still has some grip on public relations.
Not strong,
but not strong.
Okay.
But the government has some
go
grip on public
Let's go
relations.
there.
But it just needs to strengthen, that.
Okay, let's go there. George.
We're losing. The government is losing the war. And the reason why I say losing is because most of the independent people, the public, they are in the majority.
Yeah.
They love listening to the independent radio stations, reading the independent newspapers. The class reloader is good. And we said it here before, it's good. They're doing well. But that message, the independent people or those from the opposition don't listen. Most of them won't like to listen to that because it's that pro-government thing. Everybody there from government to go there, beat their own drum. The same thing with the Ministry of Information. It's good. I mean, they're doing well. I think 1 or 2 times in a week. Still, it's not enough.
Tuesday and Thursdays.
Yeah, it's not enough. LBS is in crisis. It's not being professionally able to professionally do its work for some times now. So what they need to do, when we're in mainstream, we used to see what Madam Salif, the Salif administration, I didn't see the WEAB administration from the media perspective because I wasn't in mainstream. But look, Madam Salif government really supported the local media. I can't spell her name on that. At one time, in fact, when they were saying, "Oh, we spend around 200 million on public relations," some people say, "Wow," but advertisement, you know, supporting the media to enable them pay their own staff. What is wrong with even giving grant to media institutions, even if they are opposition media institutions? Are you aware that it will change the tone to some level of reportage? You'll be looking at positive things because now they are getting some support. You are not giving it to them, they say, support me. But the fact that you are a registered media institution, you know, sometimes government partner because they are Liberians. They are. I mean, I say so because I can be so critical of these media institutions. I don't like the unprofessional ones that go insulting and other things. But that's the fourth estate we're talking about. The fourth estate is between the state, the two branches of government, and the ordinary people. The state gives mess or speaks to the ordinary people through the media. The media also, the ordinary people speak to the state through the media. We are in the medium. Don't we need support?
We do.
How many journalists in the Republic of Liberia making up to $100 per month as salaries? Have we done that to see these challenges, to see how we can be able to amend some of these challenges, to be able to step in there and, you know, you're not bribing them. It is a responsibility. That's why, in fact, some of us advocated that the President of Liberia, as the institution, the media institute, our organization, should also even be in the budget. Some people say, no, it has to be, does not have newspapers or radio station of its own. It's just a regulatory institution for us. Yeah. Look, we are not saying that by supporting the private institutions, it means that they will forget about the hard stories. No. But the good side have been a lot of good things happening in the country. The government actually doing a lot of good things, but the message has been propagated by its own people.
Okay.
And, you know, so
okay.
Yeah.
And let's wait and hear from Moses quickly. Moses, let's hear from you.
Yeah, let me say hi, guys. I hope this.
Moses,
am I okay?
Moses, yeah, you are okay. The
Okay.
question is, Moses, the question is the government losing the war on public relations, or is the government maintaining its grip on? Because if you listen to a couple of stations, you hear the negatives more than the positives.
Well, Soba, this is what I would like to say. You know, the word losing is very strong. But I can agree with you guys that the government is challenged. The challenges for the government, that just a minute. The media landscape of today is not the media landscape of the 90s, the early 2000s, and the 80s, when we were actively in the newsroom. Today, you have social media. That has become a significant challenge. So it means that the government has to work more than what it did in the 80s and 90s. You have a larger media landscape in Liberia as compared to the media landscape that you, George, Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Tagbe, when we were active. That has changed. Now, let's come to some of the challenges at the level of the government. The Ministry of Information is responsible for taking the government messages, government policies to the people. When you look at the budget for that ministry, 2026, it's less than $4 million. Do the analysis. You have deputy ministers, you have ministers, you have assistant ministers, you have directors and all of that. They need vehicles, they need to keep the lights going. So, but when you do the math, you're talking about almost 80 to 90% of that money going on that recurrent expenditure. When you have a situation like that, Pia will make no impact because he doesn't have what it takes to do the job. So, for example, to tell you how terrible the situation is. Uh, you have what they call Liberian news agents. And we say Liberian news agency, you should be covering the country. You should be you should be the one what bringing information that so other media institution can quote you. Lena does not even have a functional website. How can you be a news agency? You don't even have a website. You pay people salaries at Lena, and they produce nothing. They don't even have a working station. People just go hang around. Mr. President, you can speak to them. They go to hang around. How do you then take the messages from rural Liberia to the people? You don't. The Ministry of Information that I work for, we had television department, we had radio, and others. We have vernacular producers. These people were taking the government messages. The new Liberian newspaper ran on a consistent basis. I'm not sure if you have the new Liberian newspaper on the market today. Now let's go to LBS that has the responsibility of also taking government messages, promoting government programs and policies. LBS annual budget for 2026 is less than $2 million. We're talking about broadcasting. All of us here, we know how it is. One television camera, an effective television camera, we're talking about more than $50,000. And you pay people $200-300. When you have anyone with a graduate degree to go and work for ELBC, you pay the person $200. So you're recruiting people who do not have the skills. And then to exacerbate the situation, you have a leadership that is in crisis. You guys spend most of their time fighting among themselves than telling the government story. That's where the government is losing again. LBS should be in Lofa telling us what is happening at the borders. Have you seen any LBS reporter in Lofa? Have you? Absolutely not. You're hearing from Spoon. You're hearing from the independent media. I may be wrong because I'm abroad, but the videos I see, I don't see LBS making any input. Why? The people are literally fighting among themselves for taking change. You have leaders who got no clue in terms of how to run that entity. So the country is suffering. What do? We need to invest more. Give Minister Pia more. Help Minister Pia to put Lena to work. Now look, it's not only paying salary. We want to run an effective news bureau. How do you have a bureau when you don't have correspondence? You have a Lena director basically doing nothing. He gets paid though. I'm not trying to put our colleagues down. I don't blame them, but I blame the government for not supporting these entities. As a result, the government is challenged. The government is literally losing the battle when it comes to communication.
What? Mosi is still on the line. Mosi, your line is giving you a lot of help.
Okay, let me stop there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yes, go ahead.
the Liberian news agency that Moses mentioned, actually, as you know, the activities of the Liberian news agency, I mean, has really come to ground zero. When we were the Liberian news agency before even going to Liberia broadcasting system, I mean, the Liberian news agency was the news agency that almost all media houses, all radio stations, including newspapers, were quoting the Liberian news agency.
Yes.
Because Liberian news agency was that time was very proactive, and we were in a newsroom at that time when the news stories were brought in, and stories came from across the counties. They were all compiled at the Liberian news agency and spread across radio stations and newspapers. As a result of that, government's policies, government's whatever concerned the governments at that time. I mean, it was spread across the country easily because Liberian news agents were effective.
Okay.
And guess that time it was typewriters. Typewriters.
Okay. Let me come in there. Moses Struck, gentlemen, we'll shortly have a guest panelist on the program, Representative Mema Briggs Mensah. She'll be joining us. Let me welcome her quickly before we can continue with the discussion. Rep, welcome to the program. A guest panelist, welcome.
Thank you, Stava. Thank you so much. I miss you guys. Josh, how are you? And my dear friend Moses, how you doing? But Moses, when you wear the country clothes, I know you got a country hat.
The man say country clothes today.
So is it a female uncle you talk about?
It is good that you get today.
Thank you. I've been running away, but someone know how to catch me.
Yeah, sure. She's in fact, she's not even in country.
I'm actually in Benin right now. We on a WAWU strategic meeting. The WAWU is the health arm of ECOWAS. There was a policy document for the region, how we can improve the health sector. So we came here to look at it, verify civil society, gender, internal affairs, different groups for us to sit and see. The part of the matter, the people that are in bigger position, they don't already stay in the country to go to hospital. So what can do for us to tie them down to it? So in the discussion, besides bringing us to one country, also take the document to the various countries in the region, sit with the internal affairs, with the health minister, sit with the legislators, and sit with the finance minister. And then because the finance minister have to collect the levy to make sure and pay it, and have to make sure the budget is in a way that they say 15% as per WHO, but then the 15% is inclusive of salary and rent and all those ones. So when you look at it, the 15% cannot even affect the health community. What can we do for disease, particularly? And then you sit with us, because when we have the budget before us, it has competing priorities. How can we narrow it down to these things to meet the need? So it's good to be here. We'll go into it, and I'm happy that we can have a discussion of the mind. And thanks to the Liberian people for always listening to us.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. Let's bring you up to speed. We're looking at whether the government is losing the war on public relations, or whether the government was maintaining the war, or maintaining a strong grip on public relations. And everybody has been speaking, their position on that. When we talk about the government, we are not talking about only the executive. We are also talking about the legislature. Just quite recently, the speaker was somewhere around the border area, and he made some some promise that in 48 hours, is it 48 hours? Yeah, 48 hours, 2 days, LRRC and the disaster institution would have been around it, but that didn't happen. So we're looking at whether the government is winning the war, and as a result of that, which didn't happen, there are lots of criticisms, and these criticisms they tell negatively on the government, especially when the government spokesperson or a government official goes somewhere and makes a major policy statement, and that statement doesn't come to reality. So we are looking at some of these things that are happening. But Moses spoke about the information ministry's budget. Granted, Moses, that the budget is low and all of that. He made reference to the Lena. Now, Moses, those who are cooking or who are distributing the budget, distributing the allocation, they themselves, they have their ears on the ground. How do you increase an institution's budget when just recently there were a group of individuals from Lena who were protesting that, look, some amount of money that we should have benefited and we should have bought equipment with, we can't. So those are some of the things also turning negatively on the Ministry of Information's capacity to function. When you receive resources for the purpose of doing government PR, and then at the end of the day, reportedly, the resources is diverted or not used for the purpose intended, it also affects your ability. But in addition to that, Talbot made reference to during those days when people were doing PR and people were being effective. Now, it's true, but also let's look at it from the perspective. We spoke about the Class Reloaded before. A bulk of those who listen to Class Reloaded, they are government officials, not the people from the opposition bloc. And at the end of the day, you have one segment of people not listening to what you say you are doing. What it will cost the government, or it will cost the government PR people to say, look, let's begin to distribute ourselves to private institutions. Let's go on private stations, because of the Class Reloaded, not many stations do have guests from the government angle. If you listen in the morning, listen in the evening, listen in the afternoon, not many government people, especially those from the executive. Bulk of those who go on private stations are people from the legislature
and opposition.
So that's telling you, Tagbe, that the government is losing the war on PR. Before then, if something happens in the government, stations will run with it that, look, this is the government's position. But that's not happening. Let's take, for instance, the press conference held by the Attorney General. People took it put a political spin on it and looking at it from the political perspective, not the PR perspective of the government. So what it will cause the government to say, look, let's try to do our PR through independent stations and forget about having this depending on Class Reloaded or depending on LBS, because not, in fact, even the LBS, let's assume LBS is operating effectively. Not many opposition want to listen to LBS. But if there's a decision made to say, look, let's do our PR through independent stations. Let's say, for instance, that maybe the nighttime heat, the different nighttime shows, and just go and explain government policies. Don't you think that will help our people to know more about the positives that the government is doing?
Well, so let's look at it from another perspective. A government starts to do that. Using a private radio stations or newspapers to run this propaganda. I mean, there will be people who will say the independent media has been compromised.
No. Wait.
There'll be people who will have that view. You are talking about subsidizing. Radio stations, independent media, to subsidize independent. That would make sense. Subsidizing independent media houses or media institutions, and even giving them government advertisements. That will help to financially empower these media houses,
because
to be able to pay salaries, handsomely pay salaries to their staff. But if you have a government that
why do you do that? You want to do it because you want those media institutions to elevate your positive side.
Yes. So, yeah, but if you begin to do PR haphazardly, to say, look, let's concentrate on
selectively.
No, you're not going to get that.
You will not get that.
Fine.
And quite frankly, the opposition prefer listen to the negatives of the government. And they will actually turn to the stations that are preaching these negatives.
Let's say for example, and Madam Reb will soon be coming to you. Let's say for example, a government spokesman, maybe let's say for example, the Minister of Public Works. He comes on the program on the nighttime heat. Let's say, for example, maybe the former Minister of Public Works also come and they're discussing the technical issues, and the people will be more glued to that discussion than if you just took the Minister of Public Works and you send him to Class Reloaded, where another government minister is interviewing. Not much more. The opposition would have time to listen. and not many people know what the government is doing. And the purpose of PR is to sell the government's product. Madam, let's hear from you. Moses for coming. Let's hear from the Rev. Maybe she has some contribution to make.
The first thing I always been having problems, and the time I saw what's that on the show? Closing argument?
Nighttime.
The nighttime.
No, the other show they have where they comfortable on. No one made me excited because for me, I believe in negative feedback. It makes you to muster the courage to do the right thing. I expect because our friend was Sobot or George or Moses. So if I do the wrong thing, Moses shouldn't tell me. And this is the mistake we're doing in Liberia. Because if we say, look, I would tell you something. As Reverend Enders, I was in Benin that was 2016 when I was contesting for the first time. I came in Benin. Everywhere I passed was dusty road. My brother, you don't want to see Benin right now. Look, I saw the people sweeping. Liberia, we can only sweep the people. These people can sweep the guy. They can sweep the scene. They can clean the quota. Can't see the people country. Can't see how the people have improved. So how in this world you got in power with criticizing other people and talking on all the stations, and for all of a sudden you get in position, you get me everybody your enemy. Even George has put in it. They George, I'm talking about your suburb. I'm talking about my man. I don't know, brother. They're not comfortable to sit down on his microphone because they're expecting him because he's supporting them. He just say yes. For me, I want Joseph Boakai to succeed. Joseph Boakai is my father. I sit with him, I learn a lot. And it doesn't mean when the wrong thing is done, I wouldn't say it. No, I would say, I was not afraid to say truth to my mother. I'm not going to be afraid for nobody. No. So, staying away from even the private station, they're not helping them because they themselves are creating jobs too. So if you just say, let me tell you, with the one they have to information ministry, it's boring. Why you choose the press people? The press people, they register, honor you. They want to ask strong questions, say they scare. You can't hold the authority among yourself, explain yourself. Can you just take that over information ministry and start to take it to the counties? And start to take it to other private radio stations? And let them ask you the question of the mind. That's the same thing I told ECOWAS people today. They say we come to discuss health. We'll say we come to discuss health, and so you carry out to 5-star hotel, hotel. You pour out there, you say, we'll pay $315. I'll tell you, say, if you change my room today, to put me in one room, one go buy my get on there, $300 or $350 in my hand to go from country. And you want to send somebody to hospital, I will walk from holiday plane and go back. I changed my hotel. I came to a different place. So I asked her, I say, first of all, we came here, we said we can't improve healthcare. What's happened from going to the conference room of the Ministry of Health? What's happened from going to one of the regions and see what the people, how many pregnant women are dying? I say ECOWAS is for the people, no, it's for the love it, it's for the back it's for the workshop. They come and get back down. Because if I want to get a hands-on, I should take this conference to somewhere that a pregnant woman will tell me how many pregnant women die when they have to go far to reach where there is no hospital. Then we're going to get hands-on. And then I asked Wawu, when are you planning to have the regional hospital, to have the first-hand medical hospital, and then also medical center, and then also a school? Like you would say, Liberia, give me your first thing that does your university, the medical school, so they can come and specialize, and when they graduate, they work here. So nobody will go India to a hospital. Nobody will go other places. Let me tell you, sometimes I just get tired talking. I get sick and tired because we're not helping ourselves. Maybe our children will face it, but in Liberia, it's difficult.
Okay, let's go there. Let's go there, Rep. Moses,
What
we are
will
trying
it be that someone will go today because you were talking for me, but because tomorrow someone not talking for me, so someone is the most bad person? Can I first of all investigate to know what have changed someone mood towards me? Or Mose, according to someone needs to let me go to Yabe. Mose mood towards me. Investigate, listen to him, have a conversation with him, and then know what you can work on with. But we're not doing that. As soon as you bomb off us, we run away from you. We're not coming by again. We're not speaking to you again because we got control over the cash. The cash that will come and go, taxes come and be 15%. What the citizen now, all of the burning of the taxes living on there now, they come and pay our salary. Google now. I beg you, let me hear.
let's hold you there. Let's hold you there. Moses, you come in quickly.
Yeah, okay. Do you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. I just wanted to piggyback on what you said. So when you said building relationship, you were not saying that the independent media to do propaganda for the government. You're basically saying that the government should utilize the independent media in telling its stories in a positive way. It doesn't mean that when the government is in the wrong, the independent media should not. But we should build a relationship that this is our country, it's all about our country. When you see something good, say something good. When you see something negative, let us know. I think that's the perspective from which we're coming from.
Surely.
Now, the error that the government has made is establishing this quote-unquote class reloading. It makes no sense. It undermines the government PR. Nobody listens to them because the first thing people say, all of those people are from what? The government. How can you have Yeke Koluba interviewing my sister, Mema Briggs, on class reloading? Because that's what they do. You know, you have government official interviewing government official. Who will listen to you? And they still haven't gotten yet. Another thing that the government is really not doing well on is what they call the into this world. It is costly, moving people from one location to another, feeding, lodging, all of that. All you need to do, dispatch your crew to rural Liberia, then gather the story. If you need to talk to Honorable Member Briggs about what's happening in your district, assign your radio crew, your television crew, let them go to her office, interview her, or say, hey, Honorable, can we go to your county and talk to some of the projects you guys are undertaking? People will follow that. You don't need to go to any county and hold town hall meeting with people. You don't. I think the government need to make a lot of corrections here. It's a waste of resources. Reload that, look up. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, you want to come in quickly?
I wouldn't,
We have to
because
transition.
it is their signature PR program, right? I wouldn't want them to say close it down. I wouldn't use the word close it down. I would say make inroads with the private institutions. You see, the independent voice or voices in the area carry the majority of if you see class rewards when you see 50,000, 60,000. Well, most of them, that's government supporters. But what about the 100,000, the 1
They put
million?
can be boosting the followers
On the other side.
that's going to talk you.
Yeah, you want to boost.
The other side,
And George, let me just put information that I do podcast. I mean, to
I think for some reason somebody grinding, something happening.
you know, George, right?
yeah, I know. I've been doing something for other people. The truth is, some of us here says, I think you should still hold on to what you got. You say you can't leave it, but get out there, utilize the private
to get your message out.
Get the message out. They got their own audiences. All these media institutions have their own audiences. If, for example, Nighttime Heat has about 300 people following. You come here, do 300 people listen to you? And now, even if 250 of them were against you because they were not hearing from you and they're hearing from you now, probably it could be the majority of people listening to you now, they may follow you. So the thing is, let's diversify. Let's go, let's make inroads with the private institutions. Let's forget about who is what. Because, look, Mr. Sandy was saying from a professional point of view, yes, I agree 100%. The intention is not for them to propagate your propaganda. I mean, in terms of the private institutions.
Mm-hmm.
But look, it's clear. If you support the media institutions, they will equally elevate your positive and balance it with your negative. They will not stop the negative. Look, you can write a soft news that says the fight, but because of the way you put the content, even the readers will not be getting angry at the person you're really getting at.
Sure.
And, you know, because we are professional, but we know how to do those things, right? You will be saying the truth. You will say everything the person did.
Mm-hmm.
But the way you present the news will make a person made a mistake or something, and not get any chance. But the way also you read the news, will make a put a joint there, put that man outside. We don't need to see him. So those are the tactics in this thing. You know?
Now,
people need to.
we are about to transition.
Yeah.
Let's take, for instance, the border situation.
Yeah.
We had independent media going to the border. What it would have cost the state broadcaster or maybe a team from MICAD to go to the border and report from there, or bring in information from there, information that you can share with other media and the independent media to broadcast for you and spread across the country. What's happening? It's real that we are losing the war on PR. As a government, we are losing the war on PR. If you listen to stations in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, you tell that we are losing the war. Bulk of what the government wants to hear, those stations do not broadcast them. Even the papers. What is happening? It says that the person who controls the PR team or the communication team is not effective and not in good rapport with media personnel. And I think that's the situation. Just in recent time, how can you be? And it's not about trying to bad mouth, but how can you be a government spokesperson? They ask you about situation about the border. He said, "What people who are doubting will come to give them gun to go and fight." How do you say that? How do you check your people out? Because at the end of the day, you are harming the government. You are harming. Today, many people think that the MICAD is just about insulting officials. We shouldn't be doing that. We should be able to tell the government story. If the government does something positive, let's run with it. But you who are the head of the government communication, you will have to drive that. If you don't drive it with your colleagues, at the end they're looking for the negatives. They want to put politics and the political spin on everything. What are the positives? They just want to look at it the negative way. Gentlemen, let's try to transition quickly. We have the case involving Samuel Tuer and the rest of them. There was this startling revelation in the case rather a few days ago. I'm sure either yesterday or a day before. Let me try to find it to read it quickly. The government's first witness. What did he say? Government lawyers' first primary witness in the ongoing economic sabotage trial at Criminal Kosi has testified that more than 1.5 billion and US 500,000 linked to joint security operations during the 2023 elections may have been disbursed under unclear circumstances, raising questions about accountability and the use of public funds. Baba Mohammed Boka, program manager at the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, told the court that investigations uncovered significant discrepancies involving government funds allegedly allocated to joint security operations during the election period. Testifying for the prosecution, Boka said the investigation was triggered by media reports concerning 500,000 transactions involving the Financial Intelligence Agency FIA. In response, the LACC summoned to former FIA Director Stanley Fall for clarification. According to Bob, okay. Now, gentlemen, this is the startling revelation. The case is ongoing, and government prosecution believes that Tuer and the rest did mismanage. In fact, you listen to the minutes of the Solicitor General the other time. He said this case will be the shortest so far because, according to him, 12 others have already admitted, and 12 lawyer came up and said, no, we didn't admit, and all of that. But listening to the first witness, that the money, 1.5 billion and 500,000 may have been used on unclear circumstances, and the individual, the first witness, came from the LACC. Tagba, what's your reading in this case, especially with the first state witness taking?
Well, actually, the revelation is obviously startling, and it's not just saying it, but it has to be accompanied by the requisite pieces of evidence to substantiate such claim. Are there documentations to prove that? Yes, unclear. What makes it unclear? And where did the money go? They say, well, used for joint security. Did the joint security actually receive the money? Who has received the money? Where did they sign? These questions will come up at the end of the day. It's not about saying, oh, we did it, but it's about proving that it did it. So that's it. But from all indications of what the first witness said, whatever he said is something to go by. Then there's a likelihood that the former finance minister and others may not survive the ongoing case.
Okay. Now, let's hear from you. Let me put a question this way. Do you think this case can be compared to the case that involved the former defense minister, Brandon Sambokha?
Sure.
Is it the same?
It borders on the same thing about immunity. President gave me instruction to do. I was acting on executive order, this and that. So it's the same thing with Brani. So I don't know if it would be proving that they did, right? Because the clause may have in the article we just read.
It's conditional.
I don't know whether that person was quoting direct, because if you are writing, you say the state witness say this thing may have been. It means that the state witness is not sure. All right. So which casts doubt on our entire. So in my opinion, I'm not a lawyer, so probably the reporter made a mistake or whatsoever. But it is true. It's in court. There's a gag order on this thing on the defendant's legal team and the prosecution, and that's the thing that I want to see gag order on the speaker's case, because a lot of talks coming. They talk too much until a lot of things. So the issue is in Liberia, that's prosecution witness. That's the government side. The government side will say what they want to say. When the defense witness takes a stand, you will see that on the side, but the truth, the court goes after the truth, the fights. So, and once the court sees it, definitely they will rule according to the letter.
Okay, Moses, let's hear from you. Okay, he's off. Is the rep?
The honorable
okay.
Yeah.
Rep, let's hear from you. We just read exactly what the prosecution witness said in when he took the stand, especially from the LACC, that the 5 billion and the 500,000 may have been used on unclear circumstances.
So for me, the case is staying in court. I can't get any opinion on it. All I can say, people like us are in position right now. The issue of prosecuting Samuel Tuer and the rest of the team, like Josh rightly said, all of the cases that lawyers and other people normally brief, they happen to past cases. So if you say today, I think later on, other people walk free. If Samuel Tuer walk free again, people sit down and do the same thing. So let's watch and see. But again, I say, it come back to us. Not because you are privileged to serve in public office. Whatever you do, you must be very careful. You must abide by the law. Why it took for it was just simple. The summit where they were going to come right back to the legislator and say, we want to redirect the funding from this line. Can you please do it for us because of emergency level? So today, I hope the Unity Party government is taking key of this because we got issue in Lofa right now, and we're hearing people using money and teaching on money. I hope they're doing the right thing, but then I trust the finance minister because you can't tell me you're going to serve international. No, to a mistake, serve in that same capacity, and then he came back. Maybe he got last in Africa and can relax and chill and say we got 24 years, and so we're not supposed to do nothing straight.
Yeah.
We'll rectify it. And, most of the government officials, what they can be depending on a 5-year clause. So after 5 years, nobody can order you again, all those things. So that's what they can be doing. But our board can bounce there. So I hope all I can say is while the case is still in court, I don't leave myself that are in position today. I know I don't got access of money. But again, our attitude, our behavior towards the Liberian people money is something that we must put on a posture that will protect the people's interests, not us. That's all I can say.
Okay, so okay, Moses.
Yeah.
Let's hear from you. Your take on. I'm sure you heard the reading concerning the appearance of the first state witness in the economic sabotage case. The startling revelation that the 1.5 billion, the 500,000
let me just come in before Moses come in, George. And perfectly in J right now. When Yamik say you be auditing and briefing cases that he have not passed judgment on. When they come for you, I tell a disclaimer. It's in court. I'm not talking nothing.
No, we're not talking about the details of it. That's on the surface. Moses, let's hear from you.
Horrible, yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to go into the detail, even though in America, it's for me.
You can still go for it.
One of the most serious notes about this one, I welcome the pro because we all want accountability in the public sector. But it is often stated in the legal world that he who comes to equity must come with a clean hand. That's the problem that this administration has. If you are reading Samuel 12 today, but you went to Lofa, initiated a project that cost over $6 million. That came to the attention of the president. And since then, he has taken no action. Then the question is between you and your family. There are so many people in the administration that engage in acts that undermine the economy of Liberia. And that's the man was clear. Same time he was double dead. Cases. Are you cherry picking?
It's lying.
Are you cherry picking? Are you choosing which one to go after or not? Because if you hold someone to accountable to them, that's my advice. Let's begin with ourselves.
So Moses, let me just speak about on what Moses just said. I was concerned a few days, but then we closed. I know I'm going to bring it back. I normally I've promised myself to not bring female to parliament. And again, but we have to because with the LSCC boss and the rest of the team must come and tell us what is the yardstick used to investigate certain people and suspend, and then the other people you investigating and you can suspend it. Because I saw Bill Jones in our Moja Bon Country. I was wishing all the best. He's one of my best son from Bon County. You got Dolly, but then Emma Glasgow then was being suspended. Swakoko, Rosalind Swakoko. So why were these people still serving in a various position and they was being investigated? So I want her to come and tell us. And she said, the executive, I will write again. If the necessary people not come, fine. But at least it will be on record that we have called the rest of the people to do. So it's always important to raise these things. And I say that again, not that we're against the government. I would want Joseph Boakai to succeed. He's one person I admire for a very long time. So if we don't see the hard things, people will get complacent like the other people got complacent. We got to say, we got to do the right thing. We all. So those are things.
Okay, thank you very much, Reb. And let's try to transition quickly.
I want to say the Honorable is absolutely right. And thank you so much for raising this. Part of the administration, you're part of the government. Your job is to provide an oversight. Thank you so much for raising this. Thank you.
Mr. Sandy, your line is
your line.
The honorable. I think
No, they are
Benny.
Yeah, Benny is very good for you. You see, Mr. Sandy, they're praising you tonight.
You know, Sandy been missing me. When someone called me today and said, come on the show, and Moses really want you to come, I was like, wow, I have to come.
Yeah, that's good.
But church, when you come here, the people couldn't be clean. Oh, they are try. They are really try.
Well, we talk about France, readiness or willingness to help with our to help with the border issue. And let me read this article quickly. As tension along the Liberia-Guinea border near its third week, France has signaled its readiness to support a diplomatic resolution to the escalating dispute, with its ambassador in Monrovia underscoring Liberia's deep-seated desire for peace following decades of civil conflict. The ambassador addressed the matter during a press conference on Tuesday, March 24, 2026, held at the French embassy in the UN on UN draft in Mamba Point. The event was marked by a lunch. Okay. And when asked about France's position on the border dispute, the ambassador refrained from offering extensive commentary, noting that recent reports that President Joseph Yuma Boakai had engaged directly with French President Emmanuel Macron on the matter. However, she affirmed France's willingness to assist in de-escalating the situation, either through the African Union or the Economic Commission of West African States, ECOWAS. Now, let me begin with you this time around. She said they are prepared to work through ECOWAS. Is it a difficult thing, or why do you think she couldn't say that would directly, get involved, since that Guinea and us do have some relation back?
No, it's diplomacy. The Liberia did not just jump. I think I broke this news. I think it was the night before the last on the show. I said, we're hearing that they've engaged the French government. Now, that's the right thing, because they're the original. Liberia signed a pact in 1907 with France, not with Guinea. Guinea was not existent country. So Guinea became a third party, technically, So,
Jordan, 1907 or 1911 or 1911?
Okay, 1880, 1907, 1911,
so
1847.
Can you imagine we 1847, the people start jetting us to 1911, what we were already independent country. How can you do that?
Yeah, so all of those things, that's it. So at the end of the day, the ambassador could not tell us. I mean, he couldn't tell us, hello, it's direct. but they want to use
is
the
he a
regional
he or
blocks.
She.
Eh?
She.
Oh, she, eh?
Yeah, she.
Could not tell. Oh, I didn't know that. I'm sorry. So she could not tell us that they're going direct, but they're using the regional blocks, the African block. It's the best thing to do because that's where even a legal thing for France to testify and behind the scene they will say yes, we have the original documents. This is it because we sign it. And, so I think it's a major step.
Now, but the question I'm asking, why she couldn't say that would directly engage them, rather
that was that diplomacy. If you see ECOWAS dominated by Francophone countries, right? I think we have 5 Anglophone countries in the bloc.
And they believe that for them. That's why they believe that the ECOWAS for them.
Yeah, because they are in a majority. And, even though we got the biggest economy, Nigeria help us to really balance us good, but they are bigger. So at the end of the day, going through them with the fights, going through the AU with the fights, going through the MRU with the fights would be better. And going through Liberia too, because you're going to just say, I'm going directly to Guinea and Liberia. No, they decided to use the blood so that in case of anything, we'll gain the kind of respect for the region and everyone.
Now, Tawa, you see if they have done it directly with since they signed the pact at the time, if they have done it directly with Guinea, don't you think they will be more faster in what is happening at the border?
It's not about fast tracking the situation. That is about using the appropriate channels in seeking redress to the problem. And I think it's France's way of deciding how to handle it, using these sub-regional countries,
ECOWAS,
AU, MRU, using them as a conduit in helping to resolve the matter. It's not impossible for France to have decided that would deal directly with Guinea, but they have decided to use that chance. Perhaps that's the first approach, and in the long run, the second approach could be engaging either both countries directly, maybe specifically Guinea directly in terms of the authorities in Guinea directly in terms of resolving the matter. But what I do know is that all countries, even in West Africa and other parts of the world, they are commending Liberia for the diplomatic approach it's taken in terms of seeking a lasting solution to what is happening in Guinea. And in spite of some of the provocation by Guinea and Liberia knowing where it stands, among the Committee of Nations now as a member of the the UN non-permanent member on the UN Security Council. That is a position that Liberia will not compromise in terms of handling these kind of crises. It has to be very careful, meticulously deal with the matter and see how best it can be resolved diplomatically.
Now, let me ask you, Moses. Our president, the Guinean president, and the Sierra Leonean president, the MRU. Let me just put it that way.
Yeah,
MRU. They went to this meeting, and just 24 hours after, Guinea did further enforcement of his deployment. Do you think with the coming in of Paris, like you heard the ambassador saying, you think we're going to get a lasting solution to the crisis, to the disputes there?
Well, I cannot say definitively that we're going to have a lasting resolution. What I do know is that for the fact that the Guinean or Guinea was colonized by the French people. So they will have a significant impact on the leadership. I think the intervention of France with the support of regional and other international support, that will help in calming the situation down. Resolving the problem, it takes longer as compared to starting a problem.
Right, correct.
That's the way forward. I'm sure France will make an impact. Yeah.
Okay. Let's hear from the Rep, you think there will be solution, lasting resolution of the crisis if Paris coming as we are hearing now?
It's good because I think our president tried reaching out to Paris. And let me tell you, I admire the approach President Boakai taking and even the ECOWAS chairman. Because as it stands now, we got too much at stake. One AK-47 or one fire to that border is a setback for our Millennium Compact. Do you know why it takes for 500 million to be gone back? That our health sector is looking that way. Even I wish I was president, I would make sure I direct that money straight to NC and just revamp it. I been Benny and see current go off. People got a good and very good stable current. I was surprised at them when they just a stone throw from Nigeria and Nigeria up to nine that current straightened up. So there is not that money will do about us. So even if President Boakai will sit on the shoulder of Dumuya told him around, nothing yet. And these are the things that have caused so many problems for us. Because you know that time can say, me, I can't take it. Me, it can't be me. Until it can be then they close their mouth, they go walk away. Let's try to exercise all of the diplomatic thing we can do. Because the first thing, if you look at the whole situation on here, right now, you look at Guinea, they are in a state that everybody confused. You have military that was in charge. Now this man is trying to adjust to democracy. He cannot work with a fleet of soldiers behind him again. There is so many things at stake. We, the one here, every time I see Dumuya, I don't see him as a leader that is very quick. I'm sorry to say, I just feel like Joey, everybody will just tell you anything you agree. That's what happening to him right now. You go to the party, he's telling you, I got the link, I normally like to follow them. He's telling you all of that. Then somebody kind of nice, should I say, then you grab it with. You want to show to the people that here working good to him, all those things. People are just carrying away with a lot of things. So he's not even a seasoned leader like our pa Joseph Boakai and then Mada Bio. So you have to take your time to approach such a person. Because even if you think you talk, maybe you even get vexed because you talk about a height. Then you tell you standing over us again. So if it costs for you to hold our hand and two small children and put it up and we achieve what we want to achieve, for me, I don't got a problem with it. Because sometimes it's just good to wave your right and just achieve what you can achieve. So again, I seen it, this thing started long ago. And that is why I was funny all the last time I should have gone to the border, but then I had a series of bereavement. I couldn't go because from the gender perspective, I actually wanted to go see the women. And then I said, since we want a defense committee, let's call the armed forces, let's ask them what needs to be done if it is feasible for us to go. Because you always want to be on a safe spot. You don't want to go carry 20 lawmakers over there. The people can't grab your order and go say that in one room. My man, anything can happen right now. So then I couldn't go. I look at plenty and weigh the pros and the cons. I say, let God be with them. So the first thing is we have to sit together to know what's really caused this problem and do a thorough investigation. Because what I learned, we wanted to send from the place we asked the Guinean people. So did we accept that the place was of the Guinean people? That's why we asked them. Because if Moses, the only time you will knock at your door, you know that you gave me a place to stay. So when you come in that room, even if your clothes are also there, you knock at the door. I went December and up to present is there. I got the pictures. I entered to Yela, and I like to, normally when I visit those people, I like to go to the borders to see what happened in the same thing I did to Yekepa. When you get to our border to Yekepa, you will cry. Nothing happening there. Anybody can come into and put a flag. So again, this is why we need to sit for and know how many borders points do we have that is vulnerable, that we need to secure. When you go to Yela, the Guinean people cross with their flag and brought it to our side. It's there. And the people told me that that's not one place. So it means they are seeing that the water is for them. And they show a big cornerstone. They show a big cornerstone and said, when the French people came in 1911, I was like, how can you subject up to 1911? In fact, when I was in the middle of the bridge trying to take picture, 2 army people came on the motorbike. That is yellow I'm talking about. December, before the thing could happen. They came on the motorbike, and then the immigration guy was explaining himself. He told them, "Oh, that one of our VIPs, he came, he just taking picture, and then they left." So I asked him, I said, "Why are they coming in the water for both of us?" He said, "No, they put cross with the flag, they said the water for them." I said, "But we laid a bridge here." He said, "Oh man, they're not saying that one, but it's been like this long before I could come here." So the last time I raised the thing, the first thing is we just talking about that particular spot. What happened to the other water? So it have to be a whole discussion. I don't even want to leave it like that. Yeah, well, let's leave it all that. Until we see a really experienced leader. Because some of the discussion you will achieve it when you see somebody that come with the issue. But you talking to somebody, you look at 1847 president, then you gain 1911 to read and say, this is what happened. This is what I'm subjecting you to. Do you have sense?
Everywhere.
So if you're giving it to Sierra Leone, it makes sense. But you're giving it to Liberia, what's wrong with you? So whatever means we will use to get this thing resolved, you don't think that people are seeing the Diamond Creek, that they're going to go dig, but every time that they want to put few people in the car, they go and they collect money, they go to spend it foolishly, they come back. We shouldn't play with it, please. We shouldn't play with it. Let's be serious about it and achieve something.
Okay, thank you, Rep. Now, gentlemen, this whole Moses, I'm coming. This whole Guinea and Liberia dispute situation, border situation, it continues to elicit different views from all spectrum. One person who has been doing a lot doing a lot of writing on the situation is experienced journalist Philip Brown, and he wrote a piece today that I want us to look at as well. Very interesting, and I'm hoping I can read the entire thing because it's a bit lengthy, but it's good to talk about because we are hearing maybe the Rep may likely confirm it. We are hearing that the lawmakers, especially the House of Representatives, members of the House of Representatives are gearing up to return to come back from their break for a couple of issues, including reportedly the expulsion of Yeke Korola, and that has sparked debate in street corners and in public gatherings. There are some who think that that's not necessary to expel him. There are some who think that he has, crossed the line, so he needs to be expelled. But let's read exactly what Philip Brown wrote, because he tried to broaden. People are looking at Yeke and say, "Oh, Yeke and Yeke."
So I want to know that the same Philip Brown has said Prophet Key when I'm in jail.
No, I'm coming. Let me
no, I want to place the name to the face.
No, I don't think so. And he wrote a piece that looks.
Can you summarize it instead of reading that long?
No. But you first of all, Moses, with all due respect, my chief sober George, because we want to show now, you might want to boss me too. So listen now. Are you actually going to eat our time with what Philip Brown wrote? That Philip Brown, no. What I'm hearing, that's news for me. I don't know about expulsion for Yeke, but if he say we shouldn't do it, tell him to go run and be lawmaker and have voting right and to the argument.
He's not just talking about expulsion of Yeke, but he's trying to make us to understand where is the problem of Yeke coming from. That the leaders of the country will not be looking at, rather they are looking at the reaction from Yeke. So let's just be patient. I may not read all, but let me read what I can, and then we'll talk about that quickly. He said the title of what he wrote, "A Better Harvest."
Remember, I hope Philip Breck can put your show in the newspaper. You got a promotion giving the mayor, so free one too.
Let me read
I swear to God. Wait, no. Wait, George, are you acting George on the other side? George, You now post your show before in your newspaper.
No.
We're coming to read.
Remember, someone don't have to promote that man, man. Let's talk different thing.
The man is contributing to a national discourse, and he believes that he has we should be able to find a solution to all what we're talking about. If you went into public gathering now, people are talking about this expulsion of Yeke, and there are people who supporting it. People are not looking at why Yeke is the Yeke he is. So let's look at that quickly. Let me just read part of it. Let me just read part of it, please. The bitter harvest of exploitation. Why Honorable Yeke Koluba's disgrace is our collective shame. He's trying to pin that out. Let's try to listen. The ghosts of Liberia's brutal civil war continue to haunt the nation. And one of the most tragic legacies of that conflict is the exploitation of its youth. Thousands of young Liberians were forcibly recruited as child soldiers, subjected to unimaginable violence, and used as pawns in the struggle for power. And what happened to them after the war? They were discarded, left to found in without rehabilitation or support from anywhere. Honorable Yeke Koluba is a product of this tragic history. His distasteful utterances and unorthodox behavior in the House of Representatives are a reflection of the societal failure to address the trauma and neglect inflicted upon him and countless others like him. He is not the problem. He is a symptom of a deeper malleus that has been festering for decades. The so-called elites may cringe at Koluba's antics, but they will do well to remember that he is a representative of the very people they claim to serve. He is a mirror held up to a society that has failed to confront its demons. Koluba's behavior is not an aberration. It's a predictable consequence of the neglect and exploitation that has been perpetuated against Liberian youth. In another word, he's saying we need, as a leadership, as a country, we need to look at the issue of rehabilitation. Rehabilitation. But today, that is not happening. Yeke and others came from the background of the tragic history of the war. Today, many of those young people have not been rehabilitated, and Yeke is part of them. Finally, let me read the aspect where he ended. Let me read that. Rather than trying to remove Koluba, we should be addressing the root causes of his behavior. We should be investing in rehabilitation and support programs for the thousands of former child soldiers who are still struggling to make ends meet. We should be working to create opportunities for our youth rather than shutting down the voices that speak for them. In this end, the fate of Honorable Yeke Koluba is a rest of our collective humanity. Will continue to ignore the cries of the marginalized. He said, Yeke is part of those who've been marginalized, who've been neglected as a result of the war. Let's look at the national program to rehabilitate people like Yekedem, and not talking about trying to expel them, because it will be a waste of time. Gentlemen, and ladies, that's the opinion, that's the write-up done by.
I think the writer would have been appropriate had Philip Brown written it during the elections that Yeke won, to have been a member of the legislature.
Why?
He's supposed to have written that to have educated public that this man who is contesting is a product of the war, and he's not mentally stable, and he shouldn't be voted for. Had he written that communication, that piece at that time, he would have sounded logical. But as far as I'm concerned,
so for him
wait,
to be,
no, give me a chance. Let me learn. Give me a chance. Let me learn. Stop. I beg you. Give me a learn.
Go ahead.
So
go ahead.
to me, that piece is absolutely illogical in this attempt to shield Yeke's behavior at the House of Representatives. How many times they didn't put Yeke outside? Was saying, I remember Adolfo Dolo, right? How do you call him? He also fought war. He also fought war at a early age. They were all young people fighting a war. Adolfo Dolo working at served as a senator.
He didn't
do what Yeke is doing. So is it Yeke alone at this trauma counseling? What's with the other young people that are parading the perimeters of our country, who are being carried about drugs and misbehaving? And so
let me interrupt you.
Now your friend say your friend talking
that David rep 1 minute. Yes,
yeah. So there are a lot of young people. When last the Philip Brown write a communication, a commentary like this one?
Why thinking for Kabila Janet?
1 minute, rep 1 minute.
To raise the same issues about young people who are neglected, who are addicted in terms of drugs. When was the last time?
Let me ask you. Is it a bad piece? A piece that aims at trying to draw the national leadership attention to promoting the issue of rehabilitation.
Philip Brown should be negotiating with Darrell Dillon if he thinks Yeke Koloba is not mentally stable.
Let me hold you there. Let me hold you there.
I'm not going to talk on this.
You don't see
I don't see the logic in it. No. I don't see the logic in it. It's baseless and illogical.
I'm really not going to talk on this for too long. Philip Brown, to my recollection, is a product of a conflict. I don't know why he's not behaving like Yeke. All right.
What do you mean, a product?
Very close ally of Mr. Taylor. You don't know that?
But he fought?
I don't know what he had.
He's talking about child soldiers. He's talking about people who serve as child soldiers. No, so you can say that the men of talking about child soldiers.
Why you don't want to get me in the chair? He was close to Mr. Taylor. Maybe you're one of the elites.
No. But first of all, let's start. Let me hold you there, George. Let's start encouraging the thing about Yeke being child soldier. Yeke will not
Rev, you have the time, please.
I'm going there. So, a good friend of Mr. Taylor who recruited these people, and he was there. He didn't, how to call it? He didn't have to
push for rehabilitation.
To rehabilitate Yeke at the time. Yeke grew up, became man on his own.
Marry and
have children. When Yeke was not in the house, he wasn't going around doing what he's doing. Yeke wants to use a political platform to abuse the Constitution and abuse other people his way through. Look, for me, I said here before, I said the lone enemy of Liberia on this particular border issue is Yeke. Those comments that he made. And I feel that punitive measures, I have said it over honestly, by his colleagues should be taken, whether expulsion, whether suspension, whether.
But do you agree that bulk of the child soldiers including the Pula Wuyaka, the Ben neglected.
The writer doesn't have a Moroccan name.
He doesn't have okay.
Yeah, so that was
okay, Moses, let's hear from you before we can come to the rap. Oh, you dismissed it. The
writer, he was a close ally of Mr. Taylor,
which I differ with you on that.
But I have an opinion.
Moses, let's hear from you.
When we speak about mental,
the mental health aspect of
yeah.
So when we say mental health, we're talking about our ability to differentiate reality from fiction, our ability to think, act like a rational person. When we say the person has an emotional problem, it means the person lacks that ability to think, to differentiate wrong from bad. So in the case of Yeke Koluba, Mr. Yeke Koluba, as a clinician talking to you, I have not been able to state because you can only diagnose somebody when you talk to them directly. But there are a couple of things that stands out for Yeke Koluba. When Yeke Koluba's he behaves symptomatic of some mental health issues. One, he has what we call borderline personality disorder problem. Means that he's oppositional. He's declining. He finds it difficult to make and maintain friendship. If I sit and talk to Yeke today, I can diagnose him with it. Another thing Yeke has, his behaviors are symptomatic of, is what we call attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, meaning they make cannot focus. You see, Yeke goes to person is running all over the place. He can sit, he can engage people, and participate in anything that is considered rational because the mental ability to focus is limited. So he will qualify under that. However, this is where I disagree with Mr. Brown. Yeke Koluba is not schizophrenic. What does that mean? Yeke Koluba has, when somebody is schizophrenic, it means the person cannot differentiate between reality and fantasy. People will hear voices, will see images, they say some weird stuff, their ideas are just upside down. Those people are schizophrenic. Yeke Koluba is not that person. Yeke Koluba understands, and that's the point that David Tagba made. Yeke Koluba understands exactly what he does. The action he takes, he knows that those actions are right or wrong. If he didn't know that, he will not be able to maintain a family abroad. He will not be able to be in the legislature and taking pay on a consistent basis. He will not have contested and won election. So it means that Yeke, in terms of mental health, he cannot claim that, oh, he's crazy. No. Yeke Koluba is not the same. He knows exactly what he's doing. He needs help with some of these problems that I talk about. Being able to make and maintain friendship, communicate with people appropriately. He needs some counseling around that. So for Mr. Brown to argue that Yeke Koluba is a byproduct of the same world, yes, the Yeke and other young people were exploited. But if you look at the legislature, there are a lot of guys. For example, Senator Yahya Nini fought the war, but he's in the Senate. Yeke Koluba was a commander in the police. He performed. So you cannot claim mental insanity yet. Yeke knows exactly what he's doing. They work forward with this problem, and this is where the challenge lies now. The government must be able to establish that Mr. Yeke Koluba, what he said, that hey, that portion of the land belongs to the people of Guinea. The Liberian government must be able to establish that Mr. Koluba was in the wrong, and Mr. Koluba too must be able to establish that what he said is what supported by evidence.
Okay.
If you think that, you will be in the wrong.
Okay. Thank you, Moses. Reb, let's hear from you.
So the first thing is the analysis from my dear big brother. I think I don't know. Anyway, they say that the last time I heard it, the ladies for the justice for tuning, and somebody said you guys can pick and choose. They say you please bring the one we pick, then we'll choose it. So my point is, there's have to be a cutting point in everything we do. Yeke is one person. Yeke very close. Or late you see me are very, very tough on him because the things Yeke has acquired in just making fallacy and spreading lies around, I think you should stop now. And I tell you every day, you have to stop. I don't want any of my colleagues to lose their job. I don't want any of my colleagues. I know what it takes to run campaign. Campaign got small one. But we cannot serve the country and don't dignify this country. The last thing I will ever do, even if I don't want to talk to George, I don't want to talk to Sobo, I don't want to talk to Moses, but I cannot denigrate your show and sit with another people and do that. And it happened to me most of the time. I get so angry and emotional with Santo and his group when they were having problems, and I see him talking back to the rest of the people. I tell them, this is what I don't do. Because for me, when I say you're my friend, I stand for you to the end. When I call up from you, I don't care you be who. I will eat my dry rice, you can eat your stuff. Again, it come back to tell us that let's start raising Chucky and Tina Teddy Bear. We in position, we take people in the name of freedom of speech. When you call freedom of speech, everywhere I travel around the region, I see that freedom of speech. Even in Benin, people not on radio, they're cursing people. People must be responsible for the action. It's clearly said. So they have said, I want to repeal that aspect because people just misuse it. Freedom of speech means inform the people properly about the happenings. Not come across mostly of blanketed past judgment on him to say he evaded taxes in America and his tarnish his reputation and he will not take me to court. Just stop it.
Okay.
If we continue to encourage this is what happened. Me, I was running campaign. A citizen, a journalist from my district, went and said I killed people. I took him to court while I was in campaign. My team called me, everybody, oh, you were in campaign, oh man, you come to the boy, yeah. The citizen, you say against it, I said I have been in. The day I now win campaign, I'll go to my cassava farm. I will root out my cassava, put it in my cover box. I will go to Rayla, I will sell it, I will carry my children, I will buy food. So I've not reached to the point I represent anything I get in my brain. Jackie cannot continue. Hey, the same thing you said. Jackie got more than 4 horses in Ghana. He sat on radio and said he got horses in Dubai. He got, you know what it takes to have all this property? And then we just sit and say every day, people, how can you even be a lawmaker? And that is why we need to be nationalistic. Even if I have a problem, the greatest problem with the president in power, I will never give my birthright to Guinea. Never. With this situation that have the propensity of making our people to leave, can't you be nationalistic and know you're from local and they think affect your citizens, you affect your people as your national leader, you sit and talk loosely on the radio? Anyhow, we have to be responsible with the way we do. You can't pay in the house too long. There are rules governing the house. There are ways we must carry ourselves. There are ways we must compose ourselves to protect our citizens. It's our responsibility. And we don't live by it. Whatever consequences come with, after seeing it, I don't know about expulsion. Nobody have called me about it. Nobody. But if anything happened to Yeke, he actually looked for it. I'll be one person that will sign. He tell Yeke, I think you need to go rest.
Right. So the issue the writer raised, it seems that it's negligible to you. You don't think that it holds water, that Yeke is a product of the war, and the national leadership needs to look at the issue of rehabilitation for people like Yeke and others?
All the de-traumatizing and other thing we did during the war now, we're taking gun from people who are doing this. When come back to it again, when other countries are going forward. But man, start dignifying that rhetoric on it. That was show me bring different things. If you not forget to me bring TIA, there's a serious problem that you're gonna hear me seriously on it. Let me tell you, the telecommunication sector, President Bwaka have not done well for us. He has placed people in it, LTA, that don't know anything about telephone, that don't even know anything about frequency, because he want to pay back his supporters. And you come and pick one concession that you want to de-rectify. When I gave my opinion on it about working from telephone company for 14 years, going to different trainings, South Africa, everywhere, I said there is no way we can de-rectify this. First of all, from the day the legislator took the vote, and said the president will negotiate and sit on the table and negotiate with these people and see if the contract is ambiguous, use your executive power that the legislator has given you and negotiate the contract. Ultimately, the executive order is still going. Who is monitoring? What is the leakages? How are we curtailing it? How are we? Nothing is happening. And I'm hearing that even what the legislators part have not yet been honored. Where are we going? You sit over there. Today we're losing money every day. The last time the issue that happened to GT Bank, it happened on mobile money because no one monitoring. Your data you're using here right now, how it's being calculated, you don't even know. As soon as your $2, your $5 finish, how am my other data finishing? So the reason for which this may sitting in America, T-Mobile, AT&T, all the people Seamless, or why you call the other ones here, Mobile, all these people, they are all on one tower. You got different tower. You've been passing in America, you not see tower one day. But our towers are all in a community. Radiation killing our people every day. LTA nothing about putting in policy. The cyber law is lying down in the Senate. They're not thinking about bringing it up and thinking about the version of AI that we will use in our country and the one we will block. But they're running after one monitoring company because they have 45% and because they have no objection. The C law that we did for LTA, we gave them power to give people no objection. We give them power. And then I ask again, Lord, let me say, because there is one show that when you carry me on the show for one, so I need to say this, because these are some of the things that you see me coming very hard. You see, the LTA, the person that is a chair right now, Clarence Masakwe, he was a chair on concession in the House when this concession was being passed. That's why I asked him last time, what was his opinion on it? What did he mention to say it was wrong? But because today he's setting to LTA, he want to bring one company and get a owner share as usual. But all the money they share in this country, where they go, everybody passing their one clothes on hang up. They don't enjoy it. Our people, they telling you, say you calling 60 seconds. If you check over voice over RP, I dare you, it's not 60 seconds on the switchboard. So there are major things in our telecommunication sector to look at it. Then tying our ways on TIA to be deactivated because we want to bring our own monitoring company to in our government to make sure monitor it, and they keep like pushing the paper to make sure to do this. If you don't honor the vote, take it on the floor for LTA. It's not going to be good. We have to stop this thing. It's not taking on nowhere. We have to take one other day to discuss the issue.
Yeah, sure.
The law is clear. That's the same thing we're doing with the regulatory monitoring stuff about NOCA and the petroleum. We pass an all black year for people that went and negotiated. None of them got petroleum law. None of them study anything. None of them have the credentials. And we're still doing friendship around here. It's not helping all. When you tell us, what are you yelling for today? I was yelling the last time because I told them you cannot de-rectify the thing. The first thing, when I take a company, they give me contract in the D40 or a D40, they carry me to court. The first thing the people do is they send out a Chamber of Commerce to make sure and discuss it, or they send out to, because it's been a law. The Lord
Okay,
is clear. The
Madam Rep, Madam Rep,
before de-ratifying, you must make sure you have a negotiation with these
Madam Rep,
people.
we'll leave that for another day. We'll discuss that and go into totality for another day. Let's listen to the
If you
video.
briefly bread prompt, you have leave it for another day.
Listen to one of your colleagues as well. Let's listen to the video quickly.
My understanding is we are going to be called. There will be an immediate record by His Excellency Joseph Yoon Boakai. I placed call to Speaker Richard Nangwekun and Deputy Speaker last night, trying to ascertain the reasons for the recall. And my understanding that Honorable Yeke expulsion was part of that. And I've given an opinion on that matter, that issues like involving our friends or our colleagues to be expelled, that person should be given the opportunity to be held. Let him be held so that those things that he said, he will be able to be very explicit. And I want to be emphatic. I'm not going to be part of any expulsion of any of our colleagues. If Yeke Koloba was to appear here, I would never participate in expelling Yeke Koloba. I want to be very clear. But I think the centrality of what is happening in Lofa, those individuals that are responsible, in as much that if Yeke issued the recall, we should also be calling the Minister of Justice, we should be calling the Minister of Internal Affairs, the Minister of National Defense, we should be calling the Foreign Affairs Minister, and all of those individuals who have concerns. Those individuals should be invited so that they can give first-hand information, because they are operating in a security apparatus, so that they will be able to inform us what is happening. And it does not jive in my mind that we are going to have ourselves, or the president is going to call us to expel one lawmaker. I don't think I try to disabuse out of our colleagues' minds that should not be the reason. If it is the reason, we should be able to be very cautious about what we do. So,
okay. Okay, so gentlemen, that's the Marvin Cole representative. He said, well, if it's for the purpose of expelling Yeke, you will not be part of that. Now, for Yeke to be expelled, gentlemen, it requires a certain number. 49. And we saw how the crisis of the former speaker, how it took long to be resolved, because they couldn't find that number. Do you think, let me begin with you, do you think people like Marvin Cole, or those who found themselves in the other block, do you think they're going to sit there for Yeke to be expelled? They're going to give that votes easily for Yeke to be expelled? Because they may let them know that it may also be applied against them. Do you think so?
So let me say this, it's very possible. Look, when a politician speaks, I try to understand him. Probably this message is mentioning here was not very clear. Look, let me say this. Marvin Cole is trying to buy his way to this particular majority block. He's on the other side.
But did you hear you saying you're not for part?
You will see the next sign out resolution, any resolution. You will see a signature, you'll be surprised.
But I may tell you, if a colleague is to be expelled,
no. He said that person must be heard. He must be that person, let him be heard.
But he also said
due process.
He also said if there's any expulsion of Yeke, he will not be part of it.
Yes, but that two things he says.
So again, let me ask a question.
1 minute, Rep. 1 minute.
Let me get all it. Yeah, let me get
okay, go ahead. Go ahead,
Rep. Let me put that for you. You're not wrong. Can be moved over 2% of over here.
Go ahead.
So who going ahead? It's me.
Go ahead. You
go ahead. Since you have
let me tell you again. Honorable Cole is my distinguished colleague. I'm not saying what he's saying is not right. I agree with him. We need to bring immigration. We need to bring LRA, that they also control the various bowlers. We need to sit with everybody to know the way forward for this matter. I said again, I learned that Liberia, when they needed sand from that particular place, they said they asked Guinea, because from the video I watched with the Internal Affairs Minister. So why did they ask Guinea? Is it that they agreed that the play was for Guinea? So we need to sit again and ask all of the hard questions. For Yeke, for the fact that Yeke will sit on the national radio and try to buy Guinea as a legislator, what Liberia interest supposed to be an interest. It's not about Joseph Boakai. It's not about any other person. It's not about Nyimane. It's about our country. That alone is a problem for him. He needs to be given due process. He needs to be heard. He needs to explain himself. But then a lot of us are taking the vote to be convinced.
So let me ask you, will you take a vote against him?
She said it here already.
So why you can tell I'm pissed with him? I'm pissed with him. If I was to vote today, I will vote against him. I don't want police to lose their job. I wish he can be suspended at least to be punished differently, but not expelled from the house. But then if the majority take that decision, that's it. I can change it.
Do you think the House will require the majority? You just don't think it'll be a talk of war? It may not be an easy thing for the House to acquire that majority.
We're not seeing our house there. We're gonna worry not seeing our house there. Don't waste my time with that other talk. The thing the poor one can happen. So okay, now we say President more for the executive order on TRA. We say President more go sit down with the people that they negotiate. When I send a communication, President I even call the boy, even late for the executive order. He say what thing. Anything one what that can happen, we'll vote again. You get we say who we go Ghana and manage a real estate.
Can you imagine that? Moses, let's hear from you. You're taking away.
Yeah, well, let me say
Moses, let's hear from you, Moses.
This is where the due process is going to come in place. What I've heard the Honorable say is that he saw a map, and that map shows that belongs to the people of Guinea. Liberia and Guinea are separated by the Makuna River. And he said he saw a map. The video is out there. And that shows that the place belongs to the people of Guinea. That's where his legal team will have to come in to prove that what he said is true.
So it's true. Let me just hold you there, Moses. There's a cornerstone, a very big, some is at the Liberia side, is Yela. And then they said the same thing is also crossing to this particular confusion. When I saw it, the Guinea guy explained to me, say, 1911, the French people went there and the British people, and that was the mark they show. But that same cornerstone, when you go, I was told by the people there, when you cross, you go to Guinea side where they have the market. They say also we have our own cornerstone there. So this whole thing, we need to sit on the table to cut it short and have a arbitration, ECOWAS come in, monitor, and go on the map and do everything and just cut a spade. But the water is not this, it's not devaluing it. Again, they come back to us with the question. Why were we asking the people when we're moving things and when we're taking it off from our own side? So we need a total investigation in this thing. Bring everybody on the table, ask all of the hard questions. Then when we face in Guinea and other people that are coming to intervene, we will have answer because Guinea cannot suggest or to what the place name to 1911. There is no way we were existing before that time. So how you can bring out to 1911 that colony people came? So we were existing. Why didn't they call us there? Did we sign to it? All of the questions need to be asked.
Okay. All right, Madam Rep, let's hold you there. Yeah.
The information is
Moses,
Honorable Yaka
Moses, 1 minute.
Was very clear. He said he did his own investigation. He has the facts.
He said we're wrong. How can you run your country?
Is there? Just yesterday or the day yesterday, on Spoon in the daytime, he appeared again. He said he didn't say it. When they play his voice, he came by and said, "Yeah, I said I can't change it. I can't change my voice. Anything I want to do, I'll go do it." So it's not about trying to fix what he said. All right, he said what he said.
And he's 2 by 8.
and he's 2 by 8. And
So the question is, you think the lawmakers, the House of Representatives, so they will acquire that?
it's very easy.
Okay.
But actually,
It,
to me,
it is not as difficult as the speaker
Come on,
as you saw.
and then come on. You got any time that no more being like your heart. What for the no more?
I can trigger you to get a number.
The police lobby.
What can trigger you to get a number?
What trigger? Charlie la propo get photo. Charlie la propo get photo. I will photo. You get to get it no more.
I love that. I love that.
Let's hear from you. So we can transition.
actually, whether the majority will vote against Yeka or not is unpredictable. Looking at the experience we have with the issue of the speaker, the controversy that surrounded the speaker at that time. So Yeke has his own block in the House of Representatives. He has his own friends. He has his own influence in the House of Representatives. And I like to watch somebody say, I think that whether it's Moses or the lady who's on the line, that Yeke be given a due process.
That who talking? Why when I see a face?
He has to.
He refused to put his video on.
That David type we're talking, madam.
Whatever, where your problem today now? Where you go solo for?
Sorry for that, madam. Next time I will show my face. So what's
Okay,
happening? It depends on the decision that comes out of the House of Representatives. They would vote. The due process will take a course. Yeka will be given the space. To express what he actually meant. He'll come with a lawyer. But today, I also followed that show. He made reference to. Yeka denied, and right in the presence, replay. And this is why the people who love the plain talking, most especially our politicians,
Catch them.
they have to know that when they are talking, you are being recorded by journalists. And besides that, and at the end of the day, I don't know whether they saw what the appropriate word to use. They're oblivious that when they say something this minute, when they say something this minute, then the next minute they can't remember what they said. They telling me
you know what happened? Let me tell you what happened. It happens because when people go on podcast, when people go on show, when they don't have a guidance, when they don't have something, they just go sit down because they want to talk loosely. And we can't continue to talk loosely in this country.
Not retentive. They say something this minute, the next minute.
So, Madam Rep, are you aware? Do you have any idea that the LRRC and the disaster management now they are in Lofa County with some? Do you have any idea?
Well, but it's their job, right? They should go and do it. Do we have the? We should be calling Bangalo on the show. No. Can we just play the call to Bangalo? Let's call him and ask him what is he doing. He's the chair on LRRC. That's the word. If our people are internally displaced, they have a budget now of $1.some million.
The speaker ordered him. The speaker ordered them to go there.
So what do you got any idea? What are the idea now or not?
My man, I ain't Benny Cotonou right now. Speaking French here. I can't hear that thing.
Gentlemen, let's start. Yeah, I want to transition quickly. Yeah.
So I just wanted to say this. If we're going to remove Honorable Kulubai, it has to be based on the law of the country.
No, not a constitution. It got to be the law gave us the right to adapt our own rules. It got to be as per our rules. That when you get nothing to do with a constitution in America, that Trump was going to war, and he asks you, now he's begging you, I'm going to go help him.
All right, please. Let's try to transition. We have limited time. Let's try to transition. The last story we have here, we have a communication in our possession from the that's the Liberia. That's the Land Authority. The Land Authority has written businesses around the coconut plantation, around Mama Point rather, to be prepared.
Specifically J. Arrow Beach.
J. Arrow Beach, fine. to be prepared for eviction. We don't know why the land authority thought to red those people, but we are hearing that their action is being influenced by other Lebanese gentleman, one Eid, I think
Is that
Eid,
Eid or Wa'id?
apparently that his brother,
Okay.
who is claiming that portion of Mama Point. Now the question is, what will really encourage the land authority to write such a communication for the eviction of all those dozens of businesses of those people, our citizens, because reportedly and Lebanese is claiming that. Are we trying to uproot our people in the interest of foreign individual? Is that the picture being painted now, or what's your let me get your takeaway regarding that?
Well, I don't want to rush into conclusion, but I'm aware that Isa Eid, I don't know, he's still living or he's very old now, one Lebanese man.
I think that his father.
Yeah, he's the one that Allah leased or bought that cocoa plantation down there. He the one got the horse.
What? No, the law don't get him the power to buy. Maybe somebody fronting for him.
Yeah, because he's married a Liberian woman anyway, so probably something like that. So some of those things, yeah. So if they
So he
got,
may have
if
bought
they
it.
if they got children and that why he happened to be one of the children, and that particular property is there, that is another thing. The land authority will go by the property owner. You who legally own the property, and that's why some issue like this, I want us to call to get a land authority involved to clarify. So, because of the gravity of this nature, nature of this particular discussion, I want us to continue with it tomorrow. We can get a land authority involved to explain.
So the first thing,
yeah.
Okay, so before we get even tomorrow, land authority have a power. They have the power to investigate and ascertain the facts. They have that power. So here, first of all, it is the people that claim it, they must first of all tell her if they bought the beach. They say that they took squatter right from. Normally, I hear everybody talking, say, we got it from the commissioner office. The commissioner their land. And, the township commissioner, they're all selling land right here. So the fact of the matter, we first of all need to know. Then most of the time, we're just asking one lawyer this few days when all the evasion was going on. So then I asked, I say, what happened with outright possession? The level of time you stay 20 years, 30 years. He said that is applied, and then which is true, if you're paying taxes. People said, Liberian people don't want to pay taxes. No paper to show that this is how you've been doing it because you pay one family house. You don't want to pay anything tomorrow.
Okay,
so they just sit there, they want to do their own thing. So the record got to show that for the 10 years, 20 years you've been here, you've been paying this, you've been doing this, and you've been doing that one. So how well are you paying these taxes? How well? Those are the record that they will check. So maybe it's Eid or so. Who is it? Which one of them? The Kite with Royal Hotel? Maybe the lease the place for somebody can be for them. And this is why, again, come back to we need to call Commerce Ministry and the rest of the team to see how well the liberalization law being applied. We need to do that again. And I say to you, one person when Ellen visited the house and talked about the Negroes aspect. I know it's racist, but for me, I would not agree. I think it should be based on certain investment, how many jobs you create. Because today the liberalization, check for that clause that in it to say if Moses don't have money, Moses can partner with somebody. They have made them to go and take Moses that is the office boy that don't have any income to say he able to get 500,000 to open a bricks factory. They go and take you to front for them and make a contract. So it's a long battle. And then the lawyers gave it their contract. They're not even giving you to say, let Mose has a percentage in this company that he's creating, but instead, because Mose was offered, he was told, boy, you were making $75. Now you're getting $300, and allow the Lebanese man to come and open black factory. But guess the frustrating part? The Lebanese man opened this black factory, then they gave him the contract for Noka, or they gave him the contract for the port, or they gave him the contract for like maritime anywhere, like LTA. So if he needed to buy 50,000 bricks, he take all of the bricks and buy it for himself. Then Liberian people don't get anything. So these are things we need to revisit and sit on the table. And again, it comes to us being nationalistic, loving our country and loving one another. Then it will help us.
Okay, let's go in there. Yeah, Dave.
Yeah,
Let's hear from you quickly.
the first thing, the land authority absolutely has no oversight over the beach we're talking about.
Well, land authority has no oversight.
Oversight as far as Executive Order 143 concerned.
Okay.
Executive Order 143 signed by President Joseph Boakai. The order established a task force against encroachment on beach fronts, waterways, and wetlands. The task force is chaired by the EPA.
Executive order had limitation when it was done.
Yeah, let me learn, sister. And this 1 year, those who have the executive order director, those who are included, the key government officials, such as the ministry, the ministers of justice, internal affairs, public works, mines and energy, and information ministry, culture and tourism. Now, this 143 was a recent executive order, not including the LLA. The one that Ellen Johnson Sirleaf signed in Executive Order 68, it was what included the Liberia Land Authority. So in this case, the Liberia Land Authority is, in my view, is usurping the function of these people. It's not part of the task force. It should be if I'm wrong, tell me I'm not a lawyer.
Because at the statutory, it could be an oversight from the executive order because
Are you assuming that it's an oversight?
Yes, because it's limited. The executive order is limited. The statutory body responsible for land in Liberia is a land authority. So even if an executive order came and maybe unintentionally omitted them, it does not take away their constitutional function, their statutory function.
No, because we got asset recovery and the LSCT can work again.
So it doesn't take away. So it could have been an oversight.
It could have been.
Yeah, but the oversight does not take away the statutory responsibility of land authority.
Okay, we'll continue with the discussion tomorrow, but mostly let's hear from you.
Yeah, quickly, I just wanted to say that I beg to differ with what Mr. Tagbet said. The land authority was created through legislative enactment. If the institution was created, then an executive order cannot undo, and the honorable is here. The honorable will agree that whatever that was done legally through legislative process or processes cannot be undone by an executive order. The land authority has right the administration of all land matters in the country are created. So the executive order here you're talking about doesn't supersede the function and responsibility of the land authority. I just wanted to provide that information.
Okay, so what we'll do tomorrow, we'll also
see one mistake on the note there.
What's the mistake?
They say Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism.
You're talking about the beaches and waterways.
Yeah, you know.
Beaches and waterways. This thing is specifically about beaches, waterways, and wetlands.
Yes. Wetlands, beaches.
The authority and ministers.
Minister, they are there. They are the statutory
Okay,
body.
so we'll try to get in touch with the land authority tomorrow.
Yeah.
I just spoke with the communication guy. We'll try to get in touch with them tomorrow to hear more about this pending eviction of the J.R. Beach businesses. So we'll try to go detail tomorrow regarding that. But gentlemen, no, our parting comment, and Chabo, let me begin with you quickly.
Well, it was a good show. It was a good show. I hope that we'll continue the discussion on the JRB issue tomorrow.
Yeah, surely.
And maybe call somebody that will represent the JRB.
How they acquire the place.
How they acquire a place, how
Okay.
JRB acquire the place, whether JRB has been
Will be
paying
well
taxes to
balanced, yeah.
government,
Okay.
so to have to balance the entire conversation tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was a good show. Thanks to our viewers and listeners.
Okay.
And hope that you follow us tomorrow again.
Okay. Yes.
It was a good show. I want to say special thanks to the honorable woman. She was very insightful on the show tonight. She's always forceful. I want to say thank you to my co-panelists, including you, Mr. Tagbe, and our technicians and our listeners. Thank you very much.
Okay, Reb, let's hear from you, Representative Memon Briggs, Mensa.
So in fact, what I think I just saw the executive I was trying to share with you people. These people are here to verify and other things. Doesn't stop land authority job. Again, we need to find out what's happening to JR Beach. We will not want our people to something. When the president said, "We're not creating new lane," so if you lane corona, the people got to put the lane. So for me, I think we should investigate. I know it comes with a lot of emotion to see mothers and other people that are doing that. But I see that girl from the place there, from the police, the army people, Barrett. That's one person I must get credit to. I think she opened another place in Stephen Turbo Estate, the lady that was crying. So people have to step over the waters and then just make sure you move on. If I'm represented tomorrow, so I would just sit down and say, "Oh, I come in cry now." Because I got to look for different things to do. So for me, what I say, the issue of Yeket, nobody has engaged me. I'm a code in at the mover in Shakers because he said he heard a call speaker, he called a person. For me, I sitting in my corner looking for my little penny, small down to come in my little small work. So
You're waiting for the list to come so you can sign. And you're waiting for the list to come so you can sign.
No, I will not just sign like that. Our colleague have to be given due process. And for me, actually, I know Yeke behavior is unbecoming. Yeke and myself very close. Let me tell you. And I have one person that can tell you the truth every day when you do the wrong thing. Yeke, let me tell you, I was saving in the 54th. In the 54, I was on a committee that was supposed to expel Yeke. On the seat, I want to say, start dressing the devil. When he was doing it, Unity Party was justifying. Today, he going and still doing the same thing. Stop dressing the devil. At the end of the day, you say, just because you want vote, you want dance with the devil. Yeke, do not behave properly. There are things he's doing that are not even in line. Not because the people feel sorry for they give her the job, so it means. But anyway, that's the only way Yeke makes his money. So talk and say this. So he will be given due process. I know we'll still talk to our colleagues to see how best they can pardon him. Exposures to take your friend from this house is not good like that. Those are not things that will make people. So for me, thank you for the show again. It's always good sitting with you people. You take your time to address the issue. Nobody gets supremacy here. Everybody get a idea. They bring it inside. We discuss it and elaborate people the judge. So those are kind of, if I run away from you, don't believe me, but I will not run away.
Thank you. We're hoping that you
thank you again. Yeah. But please try for us to, I think you need to try for us to discuss the TIA issues. Bring some lawyers, bring people, even bring people. Somebody, I know there's executive people, they can come again, bring people from the legislature because we passed it and said that they should go back to status quo and make sure and negotiate. And up to now, nothing has been done. I'm hearing that they signing contract with another people to come in. That's not how it works. This is not the Liberia 1 to 3. Why can't we de-rectify B Mountain? We get a storage terminal. We get a right to bring their own fuel. Taking other people from job.
We'll talk about that. Rest assured, we'll talk about
Plenty
that.
we got to talk about. Plenty thing we rushing to take out Musa Berete 25 cents from on it, but will it be Martin on 80 cents that we took off? We can put it back. So it says that the foreigner charge you need to enjoy. I'm bring the real issue that talking, and these are the mantle that President Bwaka Mapaki on. So you must come on this thing strongly.
Okay, thank you, Rep. Thank you. We'll talk about that. Thank you. Hoping that you can join us tomorrow. Moses, let's hear from you. Your parting comment.
Yeah, quickly, I just want to say it was indeed a great show and honorable Breeze. It was a pleasure to have you tonight, George, Mr. Tagwe, and our crew back home, and you sober yourself. I think we all did a great job. Very good discussion, and we hope that the honorable Yeke Kodoba will be given due process. Thank you.
All right.
Can I ask about one quick one, please? Moses, I get confused. I wanted to ask you the last time. So the diaspora committee has become again a part again in the budget. That job will not create for you again.
Honestly, honorable, I am not a part of that group, even when they are meeting in Washington, D.C. They extended my organization an invitation to ask us to register online, and we think we are beyond that. When you want us to be a part of those kinds of things, you got to do it formally. You don't tell us to register, so we stay away. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What are you doing with registration fee and the budget and the budgetary allotment? We got to look into that. We have to look into it. We got to call them.
Yeah, we'll call them.
We have to call them because these are people that criticize us. They first to sit in America and criticize these things. Now we got budgetary allotment for them. We got this for them. What is it that we're going to achieve? How many doctors willing to come and take over Beaumont Hospital and manage it and start to generate funding and create jobs?
And thank you so much. So this is a story that we're going to follow up on. Maybe we may even do a podcast on it because this is news to me. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Thanks to all of you and our producers as well. Thanks to all of you who view the show. We can call the names because the names are so many. We can call all the names. Thank you very much. And tomorrow, I'm sure we'll have Representative Smo Molba of Monserrado County. He will be our guest in studio. He faithfully agreed. And of course, he has said that he will be our guest tomorrow by all means. Until then, Sober George is my name. Have a pleasant and restful night.